G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole, where on our first story today, OP refuses to allow their friend to crash on their couch because once they're there, they will just never leave. Seems to be a hot topic issue on this subreddit. Anyway, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and get ready for it. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for refusing to allow a friend to crash on my couch? I recently moved into a penthouse apartment. It's not all it's cracked up to be. It's called the penthouse, but it's just a 2-bedroom apartment about twice the size the usual ones, located on the roof of my apartment building, and have been trying to put my life back together. Part of the problem, before moving into this place, is I was letting people practically walk all over me and get away with damn near everything, under the pretense of them being my roommates. I.e., they could do pretty much what they wanted as long as they paid their part of the rent, or so they said. I started going to therapy to help with some of the problems I was having, and part of that therapy was for me to move out. It was pure chance that I got where I am now, and I couldn't be happier. However, one of the former roommates got kicked out of the apartment I left after he got a number of noise complaints, mostly due to his own anger issues and yelling at the top of his lungs that anyone on YouTube, TV, or news who annoyed him should be shot or something worse. Now, he doesn't specifically know where I live, just that I have more space than I did before. So he called me up and asked me if he could crash at my place until he could get an apartment of his own. I said no, and this was fine until yesterday, when he started calling me and saying that since I live in a penthouse, that meant that I had space, so I needed to let him stay with me. I repeated my previous no, and he called me all manner of things before hanging up. Now, through our mutual friends, I'm being told that I'm being an arsehole here, since I do have the space to spare, and it's unlikely there'd be a noise complaint since I don't have any neighbors per se. I just don't want to do something that may lead to the problems I left, but I can't help but kinda see some of their reasoning. Am I the arsehole here, and what would be a better way to explain things to people giving me crap about it? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. I may be the arsehole because when the former roommate is on his medication, he's fine, and I do have the room to spare. I've just turned him down because I fear any possible future hassle that may come of it. Now in the comments, not the arsehole. You moved out because he was a bad roommate. He got evicted because he is a bad tenant. Just because you don't have next door neighbors doesn't mean you don't have neighbors. You still have downstairs neighbors who won't be happy that some arsehole in the upstairs apartment is shouting at YouTube videos all day. And even if you didn't have downstairs neighbors, you literally moved out because living with him was so terrible. Why would you want to live with him again? And OP replies, "Thank you. I really love it here, and for the first real time in years, it feels like everything is going in the right direction for once. Finally getting out of a bad living situation is a special thing. Don't let this guy ruin it for you." From the sounds of things, it seems like he has plenty of other people who care about his living situation, so I'm sure one of them will take him in. Think of it this way. If you let him crash for a day, you will be stuck with him forever, and getting rid of him will be a toll on your self-help progress. Don't ruin your happiness because of someone else's choices. Not the arsehole. And any friend that calls you an arsehole, you need to say, "Alright, so why don't you take him in?" Don't bring him in because he will never leave. And he will cause problems for you because he doesn't take responsibility for his behavior, clearly. I'm not sure about where you live, but we would be kicked out if we let anyone move in who wasn't on the lease when we moved in. That alone is a good enough reason to say no. Regardless, you don't have to have a good reason. It's your home and you have no obligation to let anyone live with you for any reason. Anyone who tried to tell you otherwise isn't really a friend. And OP replies, "I'm allowed to have a visitor for either a maximum of 90 days if it's not consecutive, i.e. spread out over the whole year, or 30 days if it is consecutive. However, I really just don't want to deal with him. I have had issues with this guy and his family in the past, and posted here about it, and I'm reasonably certain that if I did let him stay here, he wouldn't look for an apartment or anything." And now onto the update. I took the advice presented by many in the comments and made it clear to the people calling me an asshole for not letting my former roommate crash on my couch that if they were so worried about him, then they should let him. One of the mutual friends stepped in and set some rules for him. Specifically that it was only temporary and that he was going to need to make a serious effort into securing housing for himself. Part of that, as I understand it, was enrolling in a special program where he would attend regular treatment at a mental welfare group and would work with a caseworker about getting everything set up for him. The goal of the program being to provide a special voucher if the person were making an obvious and visible effort to fix the problems that had either caused them to be homeless or on the way to becoming it. He is refusing to go, claiming that they don't really help anyone and that it's just a waste of time for him to bother going. I have blocked him on all social media outlets, but that hasn't stopped him trying to contact me. The friend who took him in has come to understand why I had to distance myself from that situation, and he's already on very thin ice with them, due to his sheer laziness about everything. They try to get him help, and he's refusing to do it. He's also refusing to leave their house now, and seems to be holding out his hope that I'll get lonely and ask for him to come join me. It's as if he honestly can't understand that I don't want anything to do with him. Having said that, I think they're going to give him a second chance with the caseworkers, but if he keeps refusing to go, I fully expect him to be kicked out on the street once more. I do know that everyone in our friend group have started to back away from him, having seen or heard what the other friend is dealing with, and maybe coming to realize why I reacted like I did to his being kicked out in the first place. As it stands, it looks like the only person that may be willing to take him in is going to be his mother, as even his older brother has washed his hands of the guy. I will update further if anything more develops out of this. Note, I have also instructed my landlord and property manager about the issue with this former friend/roommate, and they have placed him on the do not enter list, meaning that if he sets foot on the property, they will refuse entry, and if he doesn't leave, they will trespass him from the property. It's a safety measure they usually take with domestic violence situations, married couples or otherwise, but feel that given my history, I fit the bill to qualify for such protection. And now in the comments, just 1 week with him on someone else's couch, and they all realize what an asshole the guy is. Good on you for not caving, OP. Hopefully you got a lot of apologies from some of those friends. And OP replies, most aren't talking to me anymore. I figure I can live without them. I'm only posting the update now as I have a meeting with my therapist in a couple hours and expect we'll bring this up. For the best, enjoy your asshole-free apartment with no roommates or fair-weather friends. And I hope there is at least one asshole in that apartment. How else will OP poop without one? Way to go for holding your ground and insisting on them respecting your boundaries. I bet you're so proud of yourself for maintaining a peaceful home. Keep up the good work. This is a great update. Keep doing what you're doing to remain safe. I'm glad he's on a do not enter list for your building, but do you carry some sort of mace or pepper spray? Not that I'm assuming your ex-roommate would come after you or anything, but with his anger issues, I would be taking every precaution I could. I'm also glad to hear some of your other friends are seeing the truth now. However, I would also hesitate letting any of them back into your life or your new apartment, since it took another friend for them to see the truth. It seems like they didn't care about your opinion until someone else had the same one. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for telling my wife to stop being so jealous of my friend's fiancé? My wife, 35 female, and I, 36 male, are good friends with another couple, my best friend Matt, 36 male, and his fiancée Rachel, 24 female. Rachel models and is very attractive. My wife is less conventionally attractive, but I fell in love with her for her humor and good spirit, which I personally find more attractive than good looks. Recently, I've noticed my wife making a lot of comments about Rachel, calling her an airhead, and just being kind of mean. When my wife makes these comments in private, I'm able to stand up for Rachel, but when they are made in public, I obviously don't want to embarrass my wife by calling her out. My wife and I went on a trip away with Matt and Rachel last week, which we had been planning for a while and really looking forward to. At dinner one night, my wife made a really mean comment after we started talking about the economy. She remarked, "Oh, don't worry, Rachel. You can join in the conversation once the smart people are done." She was the only one who laughed. I was completely embarrassed, and once we were alone, I told my wife she had been really rude and I was ashamed of her. I told her she needs to stop making nasty comments, and she agreed. However, the next night we all went out to a bar. Rachel was getting a lot of attention from guys who were sending her over drinks. My wife was looking visibly annoyed that she wasn't receiving the same attention, so I tried to lift her spirits by paying for all her drinks and making a fuss over her. One guy came over and said that Rachel looked just like the model Zendaya. My wife let out a massive laugh and just said, "Did you mean Whoopi Goldberg?" I turned to my wife and straight up said, "You really are so jealous, aren't you?" She looked hurt but didn't have time to respond as Rachel had left the table in tears. I followed Matt and told Rachel directly that I was so sorry for my wife's words and that I was ashamed of her behavior. When I reunited with my wife, she told me I was horrible for calling her jealous in front of everyone and embarrassing her. I told her straight up that she was jealous of Rachel as Rachel is more attractive than her. I realize in hindsight this was a very heavy thing to say and can see why she would be hurt by it. However, I stand by the fact that it was said in anger. Am I the asshole? Edit. I forgot to mention that since the trip, Matt has messaged me to let me know that my wife is no longer welcome at their wedding, and that as a couple, himself and Rachel have decided that they aren't interested in our friendship anymore if my wife is around. Rachel feels as if my wife has bullied her, and has even suggested that some of the comments were racially motivated. I am so humiliated. And edit, just wanted to clarify my wife is stunning. I wouldn't have married her if I didn't think she was beautiful. She is just not as conventionally attractive. To me, she is the most beautiful woman on the planet, but objectively, Rachel is better looking. I am very open to being the asshole in this situation, but I definitely wouldn't want people to think that I'm not attracted to my wife. Your wife is acting real ugly on the inside, OP, that's for sure. That is some disgustingly ugly behavior by your wife. Now in the comments, not the asshole. Aside from the way that you handled it at the end, she is the asshole. Stop bringing her around when you hang out with Matt and Rachel. Don't lie to her though, just don't bring her anywhere they are going to be. If she doesn't like it, then oh well. She doesn't get to bully people and get rewarded. That won't be happening. The friendship is probably over. Not if OP apologizes directly to the both of them in person and promises not to bring the wife around again. It's over. Check out the first edit. Matt and Rachel uninvited OP's wife to their wedding and are interested only if the wife isn't around. If his wife is around, they are willing to be friends with OP, just not with his wife. Edit to add, I realize this may mean the end of the friendship till the end of the marriage, but I was just clarifying what OP said. But of course, you can be online friends for years until one or both of their relationships fail. OP's wife was so verbally ugly though that I don't know how he can think of her the same as he did. That's not how it winds up long term. They're willing to try to be friends with OP for now, but OP will have to 1. Never mention his wife, 2. Never mention big events in his life because his wife will be involved, and 3. It's going to cause a bigger divide with his wife, so he will have to handle that as well. These never turn out well long term. You can't stay married to someone's bully and long term keep the friendship even after the bullying ends. This doesn't even hit on the growing resentment because he's only just now told them that he doesn't agree with his wife and hasn't done anything to stop her in public before. If a friend doesn't stop your bully when they have the power to, are they your friend? That's what they're going to keep asking themselves the next few times they see him. Not the asshole, OP. The only person here who is not acting like a mature adult is your wife. You talked to her in private and she didn't listen. Unfortunately, sometimes people have to be called out in public in order for them to get the point. Jumping on here to add that the wife had no problem embarrassing Rachel in public, but got mad when hubby did the same to her. She has a lot of growing up to do. OP, not the arsehole. Agreed. And the fact that people were comparing Rachel to Zendaya and OP's wife went straight to Whoopi Goldberg does imply that there might be some racial elements to OP's wife's bullying. Yes, 100%. It's bad enough to feel inferior to someone, but if that someone is a black person, some people get extra nasty. And going straight to Whoopi, a woman who has been deemed hideous over the years just for being average looking by Hollywood standards with dark skin and locks, is very, very gross. Let's be honest though, Whoopi Goldberg has great skin and an incredible smile. Have you seen her in the 90s? Of course, now she's aged, she's not young anymore, but she was not even average. I feel she was actually pretty. And now back to the post, there is an update. Thanks for the feedback, guys. Just to add, although I didn't call out my wife in public, I regularly called her out in private after she would make comments. The reason we continued to hang out as a group is because the wife reassured me her and Rachel got on well and the comments were in good spirit. Matt would also continue to invite us out, so I didn't think it was too much of a problem. Also, in regards to the free drinks, Rachel accepted them for the table. We all shared the drinks and were joking around. The drinks were sent from the same two creepy guys, and it wasn't like the whole bar was buying Rachel drinks. Matt isn't insecure and would rather accept the free alcohol. Also, my wife earns more than me, so we split costs 50-50 most of the time. I paid for her drinks this time to make her feel better. Before I update, I also want to make it clear that I don't have feelings for Rachel. I think she's a conventionally attractive girl and she's a model. I'm not even really friends with Rachel, as some of you have pointed out, she's younger, so we don't have much in common. I also want to make it clear that my wife is conventionally attractive also, just less so than Rachel. Rachel is a model, my wife is not. This doesn't mean that I don't think my wife is more attractive than Rachel to me, I just mean objectively, Rachel is better looking. I agree with the comments that both my wife and I were the assholes in this situation. My wife's behavior is unacceptable, and mine was cruel, and have probably done lasting damage to my wife's self-esteem. I don't think I'm the asshole for failing to call out my wife sooner. In my opinion, you should never publicly criticize your partner, so for me telling her privately that the jokes were inappropriate is enough. I also want to point out my wife and I have already had couples counseling, and my wife individual therapy. When I initially made the comment that Rachel is more attractive than her, my wife was furious, and rightfully so. She said that it was a cruel thing to say and that she wasn't jealous of Rachel and insisted that the jokes were not offensive and everyone was just tiptoeing round the pretty girl. When we returned home from the trip and I received Matt's message, I let my wife know. At first she was hurt, but she eventually came around and said her behavior was inappropriate. She's admitted that she is jealous of Rachel due to her looks and was embarrassed by her behavior. I also asked her if she felt as if I found Rachel more attractive than her, but she said she didn't think that. It was just difficult seeing a younger, prettier girl get treated way better than her, and she felt like second best. I think my wife noticed Rachel getting special treatment from other people and was jealous that she didn't receive the same. My wife has sent an apology to Rachel, but I don't think the friendship is salvageable. I will still attend the wedding, but my wife won't be coming along, even if she is re-invited. I think it's worth my wife having some more therapy, and I'll have to rethink things. This has definitely made me see things in a different light, and I am really disappointed. Thanks again everyone for the feedback. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.